Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. You are listening to a rebroadcast of a previously recorded show.
So I'm excited to welcome program author Yosmar Martinez. Yosmar, thanks for calling. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on the phone.
Oh, I'm excited to talk to you, and I love the variety of authors at the festival and the fair. And don't you agree the same thing for you too when you get to meet them and chat with them and see the variety of backgrounds that are here, right?
Oh, it's amazing. I've been here for only like 45 minutes, and I've already had some amazing conversations and learning about a variety of experiences out there.
I was looking at your background, and it interested me because you both are an author but also a culinary instructor. I find that to be very cool and very interesting.
Oh, well, yes. I think I'm first educator first, and then an author. I went to culinary school, and I dabbled in a lot of different things, and a pastry shop and catering. And what I love at the end of the day is teaching and educating people about food and the culture around food. And it's been a long time in the making. I've wanted to write a book, but this is an extension of educating people about food, this cookbook.
Yosmar, when you started out as an educator, did you have any idea that you were going to be doing all this stuff, the book and all these different things? What made you say, okay, I'm going to write?
Well, the book, I mean, I don't think there's a person that goes into the food business or goes to culinary school and doesn't dream about writing a cookbook. Whether they get to it or not, it's a whole different story. And I've always wanted to write a cookbook, but I didn't feel I had a book where it was uniquely positioned, and knowing or imagining the hard work that goes into publishing a book, I wanted to make sure that whatever book I produced was unique. And a few years back, I took this long distance hike, 500 miles, that I walked over 33 days in northern Spain. It's an ancient pilgrimage route. And a friend suggested I write a book about my experiences of walking that route. And I didn't want to do that for a variety of reasons. One, I felt like the market was saturated with personal accounts of the Camino. Two, I didn't like the idea of exposing my most personal thoughts because it is a very personal, spiritual journey. But I was amazed at the quality of the food I had while I was walking, and the variety, because I walked through 5 different regions of France and northern Spain. So when I got back a few months later, it occurred to me that my Camino book and my cookbook were one and the same. So that's how I got to this book.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so kind of describe your culinary expertise for us, so that I'm hungry right now at 9:46. I know the amazing spread that the Miami Book Fair puts out for the authors, as I did cover it the first year, and so it's just amazing. Now get my mouth ready, savoring the food that you love to cook. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, let's start with a basis. I'm pretty much an equal opportunity eater and an equal opportunity cook. So I don't necessarily specialize in something for the most part. I'm trained in France, so I have a very good background in French cuisine. But I grew up in Latin America, so I know a lot about Latin food, and I love Mediterranean cuisine. This book focuses mostly on Spanish food with a little bit on French food, because the journey starts on the French side of the Pyrenees and I cross over. And I have some dishes that are mainstay Spanish that you can find in any Spanish cookbook, like garlic shrimp or the Spanish potato omelette, and others that are very regional in character, like the St. James almond cake from northwestern Spain, or a trout soup from a little town called Hospital de Órbigo in the Castilla and León province in Spain. So there's a little bit of mix of those two types of recipes. But, you have from appetizers like baked olives and rosemary marcona almonds and what they call in Spain pan con tomate, which is toasted bread with tomato and serrano ham, and garlic shrimp, and Navarra trout, which is a trout that's pan-fried and stuffed with serrano ham in it. So the smokiness of the serrano is a very nice complement to the delicate trout. Then you have things like cod, salt cod that's stewed with peppers and onions and tomatoes, and of course always a lot of garlic. And amazing soups. There's a white bean soup with collard greens that's both very hearty and healthy at the same time, and lentil soups. And they have a soup that's like pure peasant food, and it's called the garlic soup. It's basically garlic with bread, and it seems like it wouldn't be interesting, but on a cold day, I mean, you're in Pittsburgh, right?
Yes, it's a cold day finally.
You would want that soup just about right now because it's probably cold.
Yes, finally it's cold. It was 70 degrees yesterday. It was unbelievable, and now I'm looking out and it's getting cold. So
it's snowing here.
Well, that soup, the garlic soup, is just perfect for today there.
Yeah, I'm going to jot that down, the garlic soup, because that would be something, especially if you're not feeling well, to have, right? Especially if you have a little bit of cold or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and it's a mix of bread, eggs, and garlic, and it's very easy to make. You can whip it up in probably less than 15 minutes, and you have yourself just amazing, comfort food that doesn't cost a lot to make.
So here's a question for you: is what is your favorite type of food? Spicy, salty, sweet, whatever it is, and then how does it how does that translate into your favorite dish? So to speak?
Okay, so I'm a sweet tooth at heart. And it really, in this book, it really translates into two of the recipes, which one is the second recipe in the book, and the other one's the second to last recipe in the book. And the first one is called gâteau basque, so a basque cake. And basically it's an almond cake that is filled with pastry cream, and sometimes you can also add preserved cherries to it. Those are the two varieties that are most commonly eaten in the French Basque country. And it's very delicate. And then the other one is also an almond cake, but it's a plain almond cake. The main ingredients are almonds, sugar, and eggs. And it's gluten-free. And it's stenciled with the cross of St. James, which is the symbol of this pilgrimage. And what I like about both of them is that they are very understated in appearance. They're pretty, but they're understated. You wouldn't think a lot of them before you bite into them. And then the minute that someone bites into them and tastes it, they're like, wow, Yosmar, this is amazing. And that's kind of like the experience that I like to produce, things that are not showy, but that are amazing in taste.
Gotcha.
And so my wife likes spicy. Give me a spicy dish to consider.
I would say the garlic shrimp, because the garlic shrimp, what's wonderful is that it has a little bit of paprika on it. And depending on your love of spiciness, you can either use the sweet paprika or you could use the hot paprika. And I also put a little bit of chili flakes on that dish.
So here's a curious question for you.
Go, Peter.
For people going out and writing their own books like this, do you recommend them to focus on a specific type of food to start with, or to kind of focus on writing about all different types of food?
I believe you should focus. The cookbook market is saturated. There's a lot of books out there, and I think if you're not able to focus, you're going to get lost in the shuffle. It also depends if you are going through a traditional publisher or you're self-publishing. If you're going through a traditional publisher, they may have, they may not, they will have kind of control on the focus of your book. You have to pitch it, but they will have control. If you're self-publishing, it's up to you, but that's where you even get more lost in the shuffle that you need to I think a focus is beneficial to everybody.
Gotcha. All righty.
Wow, okay. All right. So where's the place we can purchase your book and learn more about you? Where can we go?
My website, whiskandspatula.com. And under books, you can purchase a book. It's also available on Amazon. And I'm also on social media under Whisk and Spatula on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
All righty.
Well, I appreciate you calling. Enjoy the rest of your time in Miami. And I wish I was there when I'm looking outside in my window and seeing a bunch of darkness. So thanks again for calling.
Well, thank you for having me. Have a lovely weekend.
You too. Okay. Bye-bye. Keep the line open.
Bye. I will.
You're listening to Author's Corner, powered by Life Improvement Radio.
Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own and shall not be construed in any way as advice from Life Improvement Radio. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our website. Personal perspectives expressed by the producers, writers, or editors will always be presented as such. Any rebroadcast or retransmission without the expressed written consent of Life Improvement Radio is strictly prohibited. Thanks for listening.